This is a fan project. All material used are properties of their respective owners. I claim no ownership. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you and enjoy the video. Hi everyone, Asterisk here. Kamen Rider Gavv just ended. And it was quite a roller coaster. So, what do I think of the series, of the show? So, get ready to hold on to your popcorns, because things about to get juicy. So, Kamen Rider Gavv is the 6th Rider series of the Reiwa era, and the 39th Kamen Rider series overall. Honestly, this is an interesting show. Like, this is a good show. Like, I love it. For the most part, I love it. But I'll get to that in a bit. First off, let's talk about the music. Like in my previous video, Got Boost by the Fantastics from Exile Tribe is a good music. But there's a but. A huge but. As an opening, it's not good. It's lacking. To be fair, it's not a bad song, like, don't get me wrong. It just lacks, like, really lacks the oomph and the hype factor that's needed for an opening. Like, it's very slice of life-ish. It's very that. And the song really doesn't work when it's played during, like, an intense fight scene. Like, yeah, it's not. No. It always plays, like, during a calm moment. Like, during a happy moment. Like, during the end of an episode. But, thankfully, Gavv's OST is amazing. Like, seriously, it's amazing. The composer, Go Sakabe, did an amazing job bringing the emotion and the hype that's needed for the show. Also, the insert theme that the Fantastic also did in the later half, like in Arc 3, final arc. The Fantastic did Shake It Off. No, not to be confused with Tay-Tay. Not to be confused with Taylor Swift's Shake It Off. This Shake It Off, like Gavv's Shake It Off. Come on now. Come on, because this is much better. Just get your blood pumping, man. That shit is hype music. That shit is hype. Also, I've heard the movie music that the Fantastic also did, like Candy Blaze. It's good. For an ending music of a movie, that shit is good. It's not as hype. It's a bit better in hyping up than Got Boost. But it's not as hype as Shake It Off. Seriously. That shit is good. Just good. But now let's move on to the show itself. Before I get into the story, can I just say that production value of this show is just leaps and bounds? This show is I think this show and Gojuger are the first Toei shows to be filmed like in way more advance in the timeline than they used to, because as this was already mid filming, and I think it's already filming for quite a while when Gavv was filming. They're already filming like a few months in advance, as to before like they're starting filming just as Gavv about to end. So just as like before Gavv before Gotchar's ending. This is filmed way before. So they have the special effects, the visual effects of the show is more polished. the story for the most part is done, so there's no revision midway. Uh, for better or worse, but I'll get to that. And also, the fight choreography, the camera work they do for the fight choreography, tongue-tied. It's just amazing, man. Like, an episode, every time there's a good fight scene, there's always like a vertical shot, like a vertical fight scene. Like when in the first episode where Gavv fighting between the crates, and then they do it again. A lot of times, there's some high shots going on. Like during Master's debut, I think, yeah, the suit actor is just high up there. Damn. Overall, the production value is just amazing. It does, like, I don't know, not to be a party pooper, but there is a concern that leaks are getting, like, a lot. It's getting a lot more leaked than previous Rider shows, because a lot of the leaks that are circulating for Gavv ends up being true because of it. I'm not saying don't stop their new schedule. No. What are you doing? Keep going. Keep doing that, because it's more polished. You get a lot more time to polish everything. But the leaks are inevitable. Yeah, there's a lot of leaks, like rumor, that ends up being true because somebody actually saw filming like a few months ago, so they kind of clip the suit or whatnot. We got the rumored of Kaking's form, how Vram looked, how the Gochi pod, how the final form's gonna work, like Valen's forms, possible forms, and Vram's final form was kind of rumored and turned out to be mostly true. The design too, but enough of that. Let's move on to the story. So, as I said in the previous Gavv video, the main writer of the show is Junko Komura. Most notably, she did Zenkaiger, Lupat, and once again, she crafted a very beautiful and layered story with a heavy emphasis on trauma. But that is to say, like, this is not a perfect show by any means. It's a good show. It's a great show, but there is a lot. It could have been better. So a bit of Junko Komura's previous failing, like, shortcomings, also show up here. The same shortcomings. Most notably, the villains. Yeah. The main characters, the main supporting characters are amazingly written, are great. The villains, though, are where this show faltered most. Same as the previous work that she did. Because, let's face it, Zenkaiger, great main characters, great supporting characters. The most villain that got the most, villain that got the most spotlight, Stacy, and end up not being a villain. Lupat. The villains were, The Lupats were. But yeah, back to the story. So yeah, heavy emphasis on trauma, the effects of it, how they deal with it, and how they move past it, and finally getting closure is the emphasis, is the theme of this series. This is very prevalent with our three main characters, three main riders, who are basically carrying heavy trauma caused by our main villain group, the Stomachs. The show deals with a lot of dark themes. And there are many times, like actually many times, that shit gets, well, kind of unnerving. From, like, racism, prejudice, like straight up xenophobia, live surgery, human-ish experimentation, even the implication of, I'm just gonna say the acronym SA, which I'll get to. Like, seriously, I'm gonna get to that character. When this show wants to get dark, shit gets really dark. And it juxtaposed with the design of the show that's based on colorful and vibrant candies and snacks. Like, candies and snacks are colorful and fluffy, gooey, and just makes you warm. But inside is like a hard, bitter reality. It's a fluffy, candy-coated cup. Like I said in my previous first impression, the outside is colorful, candy-coated, fluffy, all that shit, but has an inside molten, dark, bitter. Overall, this is a very finely crafted story, for the most part. That is till the end of the second arc. Well, it's mostly the third arc, the final arc. Yeah, but there's a lot of spots where it just fails. As I said in my Gavv first impression video, the first act, the first arc, sets up a lot of things from the get-go, and very well. It set up very well. The second arc is the continuation and the escalation of it. And then the third and final arc happened. And mostly it was a hit and miss. Like, seriously, I do feel at a certain point, the main plot of the show kinda just ended. And they didn't know what to do and kept going on. This show could have ended in the 40s episode count. Like, mid 40s or early 40s. This show could have ended in 01's episode count. A bit more, maybe a bit more, yeah. But at the same time, with the way certain characters are handled, which I'll get to, it felt like they're missing huge development. Especially one particular character. Speaking of characters, let's get into our characters. Starting with our titular main rider, Kamen Rider Gavv, Shoma. Shoma Stomach / Shoma Inoue. But we just call him Shoma. He's such a good boy. He's a cinnamon roll. He's legitimately a cinnamon roll. That can kill you if you got no choice. His development in this show, how he deals with his trauma. Again, he's grown so much throughout this show. He learns to stand up for himself. He learns to trust people, to trust his newfound family. And most importantly, how to express his thoughts and feelings in a very healthy way. And that right there, bit of a tangent, but yeah, that right there. Communication is key. Cause this show ain't no fights. No. This is not. Characters are actually communicating. They're talking in this show. So early on in this, it shows what withholding information does to character relationship. And they learned from it. Shoma was so scared and ashamed, like really ashamed, of revealing his half-granite nature to Hanto. Because for when it got revealed that he's Gavv, Hanto thought he's just an enhanced human, like a modified human like him. And Shoma never says no. Like, he never denies that. So when he got outed by Glotta, of all people, Hanto had a very reasonable crash out. And they went through a brief period of, let's face it, a breakup. Like, seriously, like a legit breakup. Also, him working with Lakia, with Ram, at the moment, without telling Hanto what it's all about, really didn't help his case. But as I said, Shoma and the crew learn from this and improve on their communication. His rider form is essentially his granite form, and I like that every vertical upgrade, like every vertical power up he gets, reflects his growth as a character. Well, mostly, except one, kinda. So starting off with his main form, his base form, Poppin' Gummy. That was born from his love, from his curiosity and then love of tasting the snacks that his late mother loved. I really like the design of Poppin' Gummy. Like, its design and its simplicity. So I did like a version of Poppin' Gummy. I draw a version of my version of Poppin' Gummy, so I'm gonna put it here. And then I'm gonna put the actual Poppin' Gummy here. I made it more elaborate. I don't know, what did you think? So, I like the simplicity of it. The combination of colors of mostly purple, blue, and a bit of yellow. I really like that the armor can break off, like, and regrown by consuming Gochizos. His horizontal forms aren't that bad either, for the most part. So, Zagu chips got an interesting design. That's potato chip based. His swords are really sharp, but very brittle. So he needs to cut shit at an angle so that it doesn't break. His Mr. Stay Puft form, I'm just gonna say Mr. Stay Puft because it's a marshmallow. I call it Mr. Stay Puft. It's probably his second least used form, but it has its uses. And it came in clutch, freeing the mass hypnotized people with the conjunction of the cotton candy Gochizo that reigns the antidote in the penultimate episode. Shokodan is probably my favorite horizontal form in design wise. It's a chocolate cowboy with a melted poncho, and how he uses it. I just like Shokodan. Also, I like chocolate. And there's Gurukhan, which is a fucking tank. Like, legitimately a fucking tank. And he can make his enemies basically taste the rainbow. Yeah, he has skill powers. And then there's his Christmas form, the bushel Yule log, that he only used once. And never to be used again because he gave all of the bushel to Hanto. But moving on to his actual upgrade form, caking, as it says in standby, and it's like jingle. Caking is amazing. I love caking. I love caking so much. It has a great design. How does a strawberry shortcake design go so hard? That shit just rules. It has a great function. This form essentially became his go-to form in the latter half of the show, just because it's just how consistent the form is. Like, performance-wise, it's just consistent. It's his one constant Gochizo, like his one only Gochizo that's immortal. He doesn't need to summon another one like this. He doesn't need to eat cake every time. It's born from his emotional attachment for his moms and cakes. And he also made his own cake and tasted that cake. And this form is a pretty fucking powerhouse, man, for an upgrade. Like, he commits his first act of siblicide in this form. And this form actually has the ability to summon minions like his Grenu siblings. He finally has the ability to summon minions like agents, but instead of agents, he gets whip soldiers, which he comically abuses to no end. Like, during his first debut, he overworks them so hard that one of them actually pukes out rainbows. And the other one just, yeah, I know, but we have to do this. He can also use his other Gochizos to enhance his whip soldiers. So using the Zaku chips will give them the chip sword, and then using Chokodan will give them guns, and so on and forth. And then there's Blizzard Sorbet. Power-wise and design, I like it. The ice cream design is very unique. and him getting ice powers and being able to enhance his blade with ice and making ice construct are a nice addition. The huge downside of this form is that it's on a timer because ice cream, it melts, obviously. Now, story and plot wise, like the context of this form might be its weakest. Like, don't get me wrong, it's probably there's just might be just me thing, but this is the weakest for me. This is essentially his breakup form. He got this form when he got sick due to stress after Hanto broke up with him. And he got sick. Yeah, he legit got sick. He got a cold or fever. And Sachika gave him ice cream to cure his illness. This might be a Japanese thing. Because usually where I'm at, or I think other countries also, when people get a fever or a cold, you're supposed to eat warm or hot food to stay away the cold. And forbid ice cream of any kind. And it also makes sense as a breakup form because, come on, seriously, a tub, like a huge pint tub of Rocky Road ice cream or cookies and cream, or in my case, just dark chocolate, just soothe the soul right after like a breakup or like something bad just happened. But it leans to him more as a food to beat the cold in the story. So you kind of get why I don't feel as much connection to this. His final form. Yes, forms. Yeah. Plural. Gavv is the first main rider, because they did this with a secondary, with the Gates to have two final forms, or a final form that has two modes, with Over and Master Gavv. And I love it. And I love this form. It's just his punchin' gummy and kicking gummy just upgraded to the max level. It's so Over Gavv is an extremely powerful form. His punches can legit level mountains, and is near impervious to most attacks. The downside of this mode is it's extremely heavy. Like, it's so heavy that Gavv has to hunch to a near crouch just to support himself. And it makes his mobility slow as fuck. Like, he crouches, hunches to move, like, just like small micro movements because of how heavy it is. And Master Form is actually the reverse of it. It's strong, but not as strong as Over. But what it lacks in strength from Over, it excels in speed. And the ability to use other forms, like previous forms, weapons, like the caking lance, the Gavv sword, Zaku chips blade, the Chokodan gun, and even the Rokan buggy minigun. The greatest thing about Over and Master is how Shoma uses them. After getting Master, Shoma is now able to switch between each modes like that. The modes complement each other, so he uses Master. So he basically uses Master speed to get in close, or to dodge attack and go in for the counter, and just as he sees an opening, he gets close, switches to Over, just as his punch is about to connect. And that shit makes for a great fight. But the biggest drawback of this form might be how time consuming it is. By time consuming, it means that Overmaster is the Gochizo that it uses, more like the Gochi Pod, is a candy dispenser. It's a candy dispenser. So in order to use the Gochi Pod to access Over and Master, Shoma needs to fill it with at least 100 gochizos or so. So boy is snacking to the max, scarfing food before and after each fight. There's also like his Deus Ex Machina form in Amazing Gummy that he got in the penultimate episode. Well, not penultimate, like before the penultimate episode. There's not that much to say other than this. Other than it's a last-minute kit bash form, which mostly used parts from Revi's Volcano and Thunder Gale, I think, yeah, for the shoulders, and Gates's undersuit. But for kit bash, I think it looks okay. Ability-wise, it's not as strong nor as fast as Orver or Master, but it gains like melty firepower, or as I like to call it, flaming hot Cheetos power. Being able to superheat things, even the air, to nullify like the president's Boca's gravity decree shit. Yeah, like I said, Deus Ex Machina power up. Before I get to Hanto, I would like to talk about back to the Gochizos, the gimmicks of the show, the Gochizos. Gotchard. This is how you do a mascot item or a gimmick that has a character in it. Gochizos are functional. They're comedic. They're so animated. Basically, the Gochizos does everything right where the Kemis go wrong. The Gochizos are Shoma's eye on the street. They're his scouts when he's out. Go there. Go find Hanto. Go find Lakia. Stay close to Shashika. Go stay at Dente's and do surveillance. They are all functional and they're ready to die. Funny how they're more animated, even though they're so simple. Like they're less intricate than any Kemis. Just candy wrapper or a snack form, and opening up just an eyes and mouth and bit of arm sometimes. But it's very animated. They can cry, they can scream, they can wana wana wana, and they don't talk. Unlike like some Kemis in Gotchard who can talk, they just like mumbles, like gibberish, like but it works. I don't know why, but it works. Much better than Gotchard. Dude, back into the characters. Now on to our secondary. Kamen Rider Valen, Hanto Karakita. Probably one of the best secondaries of Reiwa. Of Rider, maybe. His growth as a character and his relationship with the Papipare crew, especially Soma, was the highlight of the show. This man, like, I don't know what Komura has with Hanto, but this man went through the trauma ringer, and he came back a better person. He came out of it a very better person. He was so revenge focused at the start of the show, it clouded his perception. He was borderline xenophobic and racist towards Granoots. Granted, all that was warranted due to the trauma of losing his mom as a child, and then later losing his mentor slash father figure, both due to Stomach Inc. He probably had the most hardest debut of a secondary in Reiwa. His mentor got murked, and he immediately volunteered to undergo an experimental surgery that's never been done before by a morally questionable doctor, inserting a Granoot organ into his body with very little, I think little to no anesthesia, and then proceeds to fight the Granoot who killed his mentor. Straight out of surgery. That shit's hard. He even went through a bender just after knowing Shoma is part Granoot and is part of Stomach Inc. and is part of the Stomach family. Craving more power to fight on his own, because he can't produce Gochizos on his own. And this allowed Suga to toy with him and manipulate him further with his experiments. Thankfully, after all the misunderstanding, through actual critical thinking, because, like, legit, people here aren't dumb. He thought for a moment that, for a bit, Rider Gavv was just Shoma showing his true colors. And again, through good communication, he managed to see what the actual shit is going on. Even freeing himself from Suga's influence, regaining his own agency, and getting his, well, in show, final form. And finally making up with his boyfriend, because let's face it, yes, I said boyfriend. This show is not escaping the BL accusations. Because, yeah, man straight up even confessed his feelings to Shoma just after beating Suga. But honestly, I don't mind it. Like, I'm straight as shit. But I still think a good romance subplot is I still appreciate a good romance subplot. He finally got his closure on the third arc and final arc, where he finally meets the Granute who took his mom. The thing is, it's not so big reveal that the Granute is part of the Stomach family or Shoma's other uncle or another brother or somewhat. No. Yeah, it's just a junkie. It's just junkie high for a fix. He's just looking for his fix and took his mom. So the way his mom died was, this was before they invented presses. So now people get pressed. The acrylic mini picture things, that's humans getting pressed for transport. Before, when Hanto was a kid, when Shoma was a kid, that wasn't the case. So they just got kidnapped and hooked up to machines to stay comatose. But this is why, another reason why Hanto got really angry at Shoma. The Granute part got revealed, and he was okay with it, but to reveal how Shoma had a part in how his mom died, though unknowingly in Shoma's case, was really fucked up. So Hanto's mom was captured and transported into Stomach Inc. And for some reason, she wake up and tried to escape, and she found Shoma. And she thought Shoma was like her, a captured person, and trying to get away. But Shoma is not that. He's just a scared kid who got lost in his family's factory. And when they got caught, and Shoma and they got separated by Lango, and Lango just said, "Okay, kid, time you see how the sausage is made." And Shoma looks as they put Hanto's mom in basically a vat of chemicals that dissolves her slowly. That shit was horrifying. As a kid, if you're a kid watching that shit's gonna scar you for life. And that memory, that memory was so bad for Shoma. He kind of covers it. He buried it. He the trauma. He can't deal with this trauma, so he covers it up psychologically. So that shit's heavy, and it gave another reasonable crash out for Hanto. He just needs his space at the moment. But yeah, back to the Granute who took his mom. When he met this Granute now, Granute actually managed to repent and went on a straight and narrow path. Like this junkie managed to go clean. He sobered up, go cold turkey. This, causes quite attention, even within the Habipare group. Because Shoma's whole deal is stopping the Stomach from making more dark treats and trying to reform the part-timers. He's trying to reform junkies. If you don't want to reform, he'll kill you, but if there's a chance that he can, like he got duped by one who, okay, I'll form, but it's just the drugs talking. It's just he doesn't want to get killed by Soma. But when they actually meet a part-timer, a junkie, who actually got sobered up, who went down the redemption path, Hanto didn't took it so well. So yeah, them finally meeting that Grenade, who managed to go cold turkey. Yeah, Hanto doesn't took it that well. I mean, sure, his views of Grenade has gotten much better due to meeting Soma, Dente, which I'll get to, and Lakia, and realizing that not all of the Grenades are like the stomachs or the part-timers. Like, mostly they just, if they're not junkie, they're just going their own way. But for him, the actual Grenade that's responsible for taking his mom is a different thing. The way he gets his closure is quite beautiful, actually. The Grenades know he's probably gonna die. Like, he's made peace with that. All he asks of Anto is that he's given time to finish all his affairs, helping the family who took him in, the confectionery shop. And after that, he's ready for everything Hanto's going to dish out. Hanto talked to everyone about what he's going to do. And not all of them fully agree. But they understand that Hanto needs this. Hanto needs this to closure. And when the day finally comes, like, of his revenge, he starts wailing. Hanto starts wailing on this Grenade, taking out all of his pent-up anger, his rage, his frustrations, everything. But just as he's about to deal the finishing blow, he purposely missed. He deliberately misses the target. He saw that the Grenade has... He realized. He repented. Grenade repented. How his new family that's taken him in view him, and how the child of that family needs him. He chose to spare him. He don't want that family to feel the pain that he felt. But sparing him doesn't mean he forgave him. Hanto, he even said, like, legit said it himself, he doesn't think he'll ever forgive that guy. And if he just slips, like, even once, it's on sight. Sparing that guy means Hanto can finally forgive himself. And choosing to break the cycle of hatred, the cycle of trauma and violence. He doesn't want that, again, he doesn't want that family, that kid from the family, feel the loss that he felt. And this act of closure is finally symbolized by Hanto ripping the drawing of that Grenade he did as a kid. That drawing symbolized his source of trauma, his source to finding the Grenade that took his mom. And it's further emphasized in the final battle when he faced off against Jeep and Lazelle, two Grenades that is caught in the cycle of violence, the cycle of revenge. Hanto understands too well how they feel, and even tries to persuade them to just go back and stop it, and stop all this. He doesn't want to fight them. He doesn't want to fight Jeep or Lazelle. He doesn't even kill Lazelle at the end. He killed Jeep, but he chose to spare Lazelle. And at that point, he don't want to fight them. He just wants to protect the presses that they rescue. But moving on to his forms. That's not a lot of forms, honestly. His main form, the Choco Dawn, is a really nice design. Though weaker than Gavv's base, it still gets the job done. And I like that his henshin sequence that he gets, like when you buy a chocolate, like buy a chocolate bar. It has a foil wrapping in it. And when henshin, he rips the foil wrapping, covering his suit. I like that. He has two horizontal forms, the form of donuts and bushels. So donuts just have ring trap powers, and bushels is just Gavv's bushel form, just in chocolate. He does get his a semi upgrade form for his base mode in the form of Chokehold. And this form is based on a bitter dark chocolate, and as opposed to milk and black and white chocolate for its Chocodon form. Design wise, it's just its base Chocodon with added like what patterns, like dark patterns in his white chocolate parts. Ability wise and power wise, it's a huge step up, like over his previous form. It's got a huge downside though. Repeated use of this form causes heavy strain on Hanto's body. And after it revealed that who Suga really is or what Suga is doing to him, he just stops using this form altogether. His final form, in-show final form, is the Frappe form. And instead of using the Valen Buster as the henshin device, it uses the Vrastrum gear and uses the Frappe Gochizo, which is based off Frappe. Ability-wise, it's very similar to Sorbet, but with a more emphasis on close combat. So rather than enhancing his weapons or making construct, Frappe is enhancing his legs or his fists for extra damage with ice, and trapping opponents' limbs in ice to get free hits. So yeah, like that. Honestly, his best looking form probably is, other than his base, is probably his V Cinema, his upcoming V Cinema form. The what? Ice Cream's Jealousy Light. I don't know. I forgot what the V Cinema is called, but yeah, Valen's V Cinema form that's got revealed right after the finale. It reuses Sorbet's chest piece mostly and arm body, but with a different head, and it has a cape. And it's based on a chocolate parfait. And honestly, just by looking at this form, this should have been his main show form. Yeah, I really do feel like he is missing one more form. I really do. But on to the tertiary, on to Mr. Cool himself, Lakia Amarga, Kamen Rider Ram. This man is too cool. This man is too nonchalant, too cool for school. This man aura farms like it's nobody's business. His debut, every time he locks the fuck in, it's just, oh yeah, time to aura farm. When he gets that all mode form, when he fights Glotta in the all mode form, you do not need to aura farm that hard, but he does because he can. Stepping on the weapon, sitting on the crate, just waiting for his arrow to come down. Then, yeah, dude, you do not have to go that hard. But moving on to the character of Lakia, this man came a long way. He started off as a mysterious part-timer who does his job really well. Like Shoma and Hanto, Lakia is also a product of trauma caused by the stomachs. In this case, stomach family took his brother. And yeah, back to a bit of backtrack to the theme of the show. They're really showing like him. Like there are other writer shows who deal with addiction in some way. Like for example, Kamen Rider W with the memories. They never gone very heavy on the addiction like Gavv, because let's face it, Dark Creek is just drugs. Whereas memories, you can do everything with memories. Like you can turn invisible, you can turn to a dinosaur, you can turn to whatnot, but you get addicted. It gives you power, it gives you an ability, but it gets you hooked. Dark Creek is just cocaine. It's just cocaine. It's just drugs. Lakia's little brother Komel got addicted to Dark Creek before he was like very good, goading, like good little brother. But after he tasted Dark Creeks, Komel got addicted, took their savings, and Lakia never hit his brother, and when he figures out what Komel was doing, he just lost it. And Komel ran away from home. And the last time he saw Komel is when he finally get back. When Komel finally returns home with a giant gash on his back. He was trying to get clean, and he got killed for him. So he joined Stomach Inc. under false pretenses as a part-timer to get revenge for the death of his younger brother. He wants to find whoever's responsible. Initially, he was very mission focused. He didn't care how many humans got pressed, how many got caught in the crossfire. He just wants to get Komel's killer. But through meeting Shoma, working with him, made him realize that he basically learned the value of life, of human life. After joining the Happy Party crew, he kind of becomes the group's pseudo big brother, older brother figure. Especially to Shoma, which he saw like a pseudo younger brother. And Hanto. His relationship with Hanto is rocky at first, but they learn to respect and trust one another. And then his relationship with Dente, yeah, that shit got, which I'll get to Dente. Basically, when he first met Dente, because of Dente's outward nature, and telling Lakia, I made dark treats, and he just went, oh, it's you. You made dark treats. I'm gonna kill you now. He's part of the problem. He sees Dente at first as part of the problem. He wants to kill him. Shoma and the others stop him and made him see reason. And then his relationship with Dente and also changes because of his abilities. Lakia has the unique ability of having tendrils, like spraying tendrils and infecting people with his venom. And that venom caused like instant bliss, instant happiness for him to press them en masse. And so how the press work, as the happier people gets, the better the quality the presses are, the ingredients are. So Lakia was bringing top A ingredients every time. Because of that, and that ability becomes the crux of the later part of the show when Lakia is finally revealed to be a traitor within the Summit Company. And then Neil, who experimented on him, already took a sample of his venom and mass-produced it for the company to use. Lakia, seeing that his ability being perverted like that, goes to Dente for help and helping Lakia making the anti-venom so that people can get saved from his own ability, from his own venom. And he other than Shachika and Shoma, he's the one who took Dente's death the hardest. He hated Dente for quite a while, and then finally, as his relationships gotten better, even fixing his Vrastrum gear when he got broken fighting Longo, he grew so much. He learned to open up to people. He learned to trust people. And his relationship with Sachika is it just me, or does it feel like Sachika and... They were hinting that there's some unspoken thing with Sachika and Lakia. But not like it's going to that spot. Like, it's going through that spot. Like, it's gonna be a romance, but they pulled out at the last minute. Because Lakia is very ashamed of how his Granute looks, of his Granute form. He doesn't want to show his Granute form to Sachika, of all people. He doesn't want her to get scared, and her opinion really mattered for him. It might be just me, but I feel like Lakia feels a certain way towards Sachika. but they just don't commit to it. He became a hero gradually. Like, he started off like he doesn't care how many humans had to go. He just wants his revenge, to becoming a protector, a hero, and gaining his final form. Him gaining his final form, Al mode, signifying him now is not an agent of vengeance. Now he's not going this for revenge. He is a hero. He will protect people. But going through his forms, his base form, the drop pudding form. God, this form is good. This form is really good. Probably one of the best suit up sequence. Pudding drop and then a spoon just slices it open and the slices combines together into the pieces of his suit. That's great. And he has a great, like, awesome weapon. The arrow that can turn into a chainsaw scythe. Yeah. Rider never did that type of weapon before. And I like it. Design-wise, this is good. Power-wise, this is very strong form in its own right. And then he has his jelly form, which has the ability to go invisible at the expense of stopping his own heart for a while. The longer he stops his own heart, the longer he stays invisible, but he can't maintain that for long. And then we get to his a la mode form, which I like very much. As I said, it's a defensive form. It's more of a defensive form. Strength-wise, it's still hitting all the right nerves. It's still hitting, but it's more defensive. It gets a shield, which is a reuse from Ringo Arm from Gaim. And he can use, like, his tentacles, his tendrils. But now it's more like steel threads rather than tentacles. And he can use it to construct his shield and then to create walls and weapons and whatnot. Mostly for defensive purposes. And yeah, this form goes hard. Moving on to our main heroine of the show, Amane Sachika. This woman is queen. She is independent. She has his own company. She is self-sufficient. And she is the bridge connecting all of them. She's the glue. She's legit the glue. She's the one who makes all this 3 different trauma babies see reason. She's pushing all of them. We need to talk this shit out. Fuck being awkward. Let's talk. Like, yeah, at some points, like early on in the episode and some instances, her being that open might rub people the wrong way. And she understands that. She knows that. But she's trying to do the best she could. Do the right thing the best she can. A missed opportunity that she isn't a writer. There was a rumor that she's going to be a writer, like, based on, like, a dango. Yeah. But turns out it was fake. She is fearless. She is fierce. She was especially with her interactions with Longo at the end. Both of them being CEOs of the company and having different varying views on how to deal with their own employee. For Longo, it's just, yeah, when they're not useful anymore, I'm just going to cut them. They're expendable. Sachika is, hell, fuck no. What the fuck are you saying? My employees are my family. They're my family. When they have something wrong, I want to help them. If they're good, they'll do their job better. They're my family. She is willing to fight Longo in that regard. But yeah, Sachika's great. She's just great. Her relationship with Dente is, she was scared for a bit, and then she composed herself. And she's very open. She's the best support in the show. Probably the best female yeah, she is the best female character of the show. Legit. And then moving on to Dente. He's just a good old man. He's very well-meaning. He tries to repent for all the things he does. Like, he just wants to pursue science, and he gets that. The way he made dark treats, but it's like, okay, his brother, like, I forgot what his brother's name is. The actual grandpa of the Granade family, Stomach family. brings them here. Try to make something with this, and try to make a treat with this. Because previously, the Sonic family was actually like Willy Wonka, an actual confectionery store, factory. And then Dente made this, and okay, we can sell this for a higher price and get people addicted, and it basically turned to a crime family. He's the one who made presses. He was the one who made disguise. He was the one who modified the Stomach families, who initially modified them. He was the one who modified Shoma's Gavv, turning it into the Gavv belt that we knew. And then he imparts all that knowledge to Nyelv, and he basically went on a journey to the human world and got hooked on human food, human snacks, specifically. And yeah, he just stayed there. He just stayed there, and yeah, he just wanted to eat more snacks. He's addicted to snacks. He likes the munchies. He's a sweet old man, and he's trying to help Shoma and the crew every time he can. And this culminates in him fixing Lakia's belt, making a copy so that Hanto can use it for his final form, and then making the Gochi pod from his own teeth. He took out his own teeth from his Gavv to make it as a casing to contain 100 Gochizos. The way they deal with Dente's death is, I kind of hated it, because there's so much like cop-outs before he even died. Like, I think he knows he's about to die, either from old age or exhaustion or whatnot, but Glotta just put him on express lane. He knows, I think he's about to die, because he has a Zaku Zaku Chips Gochizo station in his house, in his cave, for surveillance, and before he died, he records a video for them. The main heroes, the main characters are great. And then, I don't know if it counts as a supporting character, but he is like very prominent in the later half. Shoma's actual uncle, I do think it's implied that he knows at the end that Shoma's is his nephew, because he found Shoma's snack diary. For the amount of screen time that he has, I like, but it's a bit lacking, because there's no conclusion. It just implies that he knows. No, there's no confirmation whether Shoma actually reveals that, oh, I'm your nephew. But it's implied that the uncle knew that okay, I think you're my nephew, but just never pushing through that. It's a bit lacking, but I'm okay with it. But now moving on to the villains. I'm going to start with the dad, because yes, he is a villain. Boosh Stomach. Everything in this story begins with him, with Boosh, not with the creation of Dark Breeze. That shit's gonna happen on, so that shit's still gonna happen. Has happened. But the story of Kamen Rider Gavv started with this person, Boosh, and his relationship with Shoma's mom. So basically, all of this started because Boosh let his intrusive thoughts win. Let's face it, to the granules, to the stomach, humans are ingredients. Humans are cattle. Essentially, yeah, cattle. And basically for them, how the stomach sees Boosh after revealing, this is my wife, this is my kid, this is my new kid, this is your brother, deal with it, okay? We're a family now. It's like seeing your dad fuck a chicken. What the fuck are you doing, Boosh? And the nature of their relationship between Boosh and Michiru, Soma's mom, is not revealed. It's implied that, like, Dente said that Boosh cared for Soma and Michiru, but he never showed it because I think in Dente's eyes, it's preventing them from getting turned to dark creeds. But it still happened. We don't know how Boosh met with Michiru. I think he got smitten when he kidnapped her. And okay, there was no like build up to their relationship. Just Michiru never felt happy. It's very, let's face it, she got SA'd and being held prisoner in Bruce's house. Yeah, I don't know if he sees her as a pet or some loving pet or something else. It's never specified. Just know Bush is not a good person. Bush is not a good person. And it's even revealed in the final episode even that Bush is actually a pretty shitty businessman. Longo said he squandered the fortune and the potential the Stomach family has and wasted a lot of money. And that made Longo, who's very like result focused, pissed off. He squandered all the wealth the grandpa amassed and is wasting it. And that's why Longo killed him. Also, there's a bit of the story that I didn't like. Revealing that Longo killed him. Like, it's implied, man. It's not some big reveal. But they treat it like it's some sort of, you killed Dad. No, we know. Like, it's implied. Okay, they probably killed their dad. We know. It's not something, like, big to reveal. But moving on to... I'm confused where I'm going to start with Longo or Neo. Or the Gel Docs. I'll put the Gel Docs with Jeep. Okay. So, I'm going to... the main problem of this show is the villains. And it shows with this. I'm going to actually start with Longo. Because this guy is the worst offender of it. So... I get, like, production-wise, because of it's so far out of the... It's shot way before its usual schedule. Usually the schedule of previous Toku shows. Longo wasn't there that much. And they really forgot how to do Longo. And it shows. Because... And as a main villain, how they deal with Longo is very lacking. So he has that final boss feel-ish, but he kind of has that like very high general feel-ish from the beginning. Potential to be a final boss, but for now it's like a high general feel. But because Longo's actor was busy, like legit, he was busy, and only comes back when, oh shit, what happened now? That's Longo. Like, every time in the series, every time he comes back, what now? What happened when I was gone? She just dead? For someone who's a CEO of his own company, it feels like Longo's very hands-off. But when he does go hands-on, he is quite efficient. He doesn't get that much focus. Even in his, like, supposed death at first, we don't get his motivation. He's just a bully to Shoma. He doesn't accept Soma because he's a half-breed. There's nothing more than that. It's very surface level with Longo. And then attempting in the last two to give him some backstory, even with Shoma. We're just a victim of our parents' shortcomings, or family shortcomings. No, he's not. There's no redeeming factor in Longo. Well, granted, there's no redeeming factor in all of the Stomach families. Like, there's no redemption for them. But the thing is, when they all got beaten, most of them, they all got like an irony or ironic comeuppance to them. Longo doesn't get that. Like, Longo feels force. Longo fights feel force. Also, this is why I don't think Longo works. Like, Longo should have died when Master debuted. And him surviving for some fucking reason made it worse. Like, it made his final battle with Shoma, in the end, uninteresting. It felt like, it's cool. Sure, there's some cool moments with Shoma, in the end, like him doing the pose like out of suit and then getting suit. But fighting him in Poppin' Gummy feels, context-wise, maybe there's an emotion. They're trying to put an emotional stake to it, beating him with popping gummy, but and for some reason he comes back now with wings. It's just everything with Longo feels like they forgot half of the way because his actor was unavailable most of the time, and when he gets back, they're trying to cram a lot of shit, but it's incoherent. Like when he returns, like when he starts being a more hands-on character in the show, he's not the boss anymore, and then he got beaten by Shoma, and then just dips out, goes into hiding, and only shows up when Glada's dead. Like the shit, and goes, okay, you want the president dead, I want the president dead. Let's work together. And then after beating them, and then psych, I'm taking over. Bad guy again. No redeeming factor. Bye. Fuck you guys. Like, okay, what? There's like you can make a good villain. Like, I'm bad for the sake of being bad. Good, like a good compelling villain from that. Longo just felt like they don't know what to do with Longo. Okay, there's a bit of tangent, but it shouldn't have been Longo fighting Master Gav's debut. It should have been someone else. Like, it took away the stakes, the majesticness, the power weight of Master. Because he survived. And now he has wings, which he never used before. Where was the wings during the Master fight, Longo? Yeah, Longo was handled very poorly. He shouldn't have been the final villain, like, really. But then again, like, if you think about it, none of them are good as final villains. Like, all of them has the potential, but not close enough to be final villain worthy. Like, you can switch out Longo as a final villain for Boca. There's not that much going on with Boca, too. Glada, no. Yeah, he has all that thing with Lakia. Cheap. Possible. With more development. Lazelle, no. Nilv might be the closest one, but because of how they handled him in the third act with all of the backstory drops, I don't see it. So yeah, Gavv really has a villain / final villain problem, but it doesn't make it a bad show. It's just like it has very weak villains. How they handle the villains are very weak. Moving on to the second child of the Stomach family, Glada. One-san. Mama comes to mind when I saw Glada. What? I didn't say anything. But yeah, Glada, One-san. She's very sadistic. He has that Ara energy. Yeah. But she's very as good as her visual character, how she fights them heals that goes for days. But character-wise, yeah, Glada underutilized. The reveal of her being just a selfish person who just wants family to come together is interesting, but didn't go more. They didn't go more with it. Like, by the time Boca, the Geldok family, comes in, and Lango ends up dying, Glada started to crash out. They could have done it well, but it's too quick. You should have given Glada more time to show her vulnerabilities. Like, when actually hits, she opens up. She shows her true colors as a selfish person who doesn't want her family to be split apart, which actually is happening now because she parented the president's family. All that shit happening. Yeah, they could have done more with Glada. But her impact with Lakia is needed for Lakia to grow. And I get that. But again, she could have been handled way better. I like her ability, like he has like Black Panther's ability to absorb impact and redistributed them. But that's how they beat him too. Like overloading it. Moving on to Nilv. Nilv. The third child and the science man of the group. Early on, he is the most enigmatic of the group because we don't know what Neil's deal is. Like, for 2 arcs, we don't know what his deal is. And then, last few episodes before his death, oh, this is what you want in life. This is your motivation. Everything is for science. I don't want to deal with anything except science, but I want to prove myself that I can be better than any of you, despite my shortcomings. So Neil, despite how he looks in the full granny form, he has the buffest form aside from Lango. He has a weak constitution, which he got ridiculed by his grandpa. And this gives him like I don't know, inferiority or superiority complex. He wants to prove that he's better despite his weak constitution. So he got his mom's constitution, their original mother. And he goes into the pursuit of science, learning from Dente, to counteract that weakness. There's a point where I think maybe the writers want to make Neil the final boss when they reveal like our dad, when he said like our dad and even our brother don't know the potential that our company has. I want to take it more to the top. He wants to be on top for some reason, but they never go through with that. And I think it's wasted. He managed to be the most developed, the second most developed character out of the Stomach family. Even though he got his development like 2 episodes into the final arc. He got that much development, and it changed how I see the character, how he works, how you see what his motivation is, a lot. And they can't even do that for Lango. They attempted to do that for Lango, but they failed miserably. And then we get to Sheeta and Jeep, but I'll start with Sheeta. Sheeta is the least developed because she's the one who died first, and her death fuels into Jeep's development. They hate Shoma because they're taking all of their father's attention. And then it grew from there because the nurturing from their own siblings, from their older siblings, make them hate Shoma. All of them could have just be a happy family. But their dad's a shitty person, so that's why. Jeep is possibly the most developed character in the show, the most developed villain in the show. And Jeep is the crash out king for this show. And kudos to Jeep's actor and Hanto's actor. When they crash out, they crash out. Kudos to the actor for showing that whole range of hard as fuck emotion when they crash out. But back to Jeep. Him crashing out gives an interesting development to his character, but it's undercut by him when Sheeta does die. Jeep just goes missing for a whole ass while. He returned to introduce the Jeldak family, the president's family. And then the crash out begins there. He was crashing out in the background, and it got worse even then. It got worse when he just does show up. But he grew from that. He was crashing out. He sought more power. Even let Neil experiment on him to become a bitter Gavv, being toyed with by Lizelle. Him taking over a company as a vice president while Lizelle becomes the president. He wrecked so much. He went near scorched earth. He was so angry at Shoma for killing Sheeta, and angry at Longo for basically firing them and leaving them all to their own devices. So his motivation is those two. And those motivations go hand in hand. Taking company from Lango, they can get more power to kill Gavv, to kill Shoma. The thing is, even when he became Bitter Gavv, he doesn't get hit that much trauma. Shoma just went master form, and yeah, no. Yeah, you're not a threat. You're not a threat. But as it goes on, and especially after Boca gets killed by the trio and Lango, she goes through a realization that he wants to protect Lizelle. He doesn't want to fight for himself. He wants to fight for Lizelle. And he's actually the only one of the Stomach family who gets closure. Like, he dies somewhat in peace. But then moving on to his wife, Lizelle. He's a very typical spoiled rich kid trope, which they could have done more. Like, I think they could have done better with Lizelle if Boca died earlier. Like, it should have went her own crash out arc with Jeeb, so they're crashing out together. And when Jeeb finally gets that realization, oh, okay, let's stop, and be the one to pull Lizelle out of that might have been better. So yeah, Lizelle feels like a very stereotypical rich politician's kid who thinks she can do anything she wants because her dad is the president. And speaking of his dad, Boca. Yeah, they don't do much with Boca. He's just like just an intimidating figure. Like, yeah, he will do shit hands on, and yeah, he can outplay at people. But as a main villain, they didn't do much with him. Here's my take. What if they killed Boca during Master's debut? That's just my question to y'all. What would change if Boca was the one going hands on during that, trying to show being goaded by Lango or being goaded by someone, or trying to prove to Lango, here, even I can do things my own way. Even I can do things, and then got murked by Shoma when he gets Master. Lizelle's going to crash out. Lango's going to be top of the company, and we don't know what Lango's ability is, and that'll give more stakes to it. Don't know how it'll change the whole lot, but that's an interesting change to me. Again, this show has a film problem. And then moving on to Suga, which I should have gone in depth with Niel. They're science buddies, and there's implied that their relationship goes deeper in that. I think there's a seedy drama about that. And Suga doesn't actually dies after fighting Valen when he get frappes. He was still alive and was letting himself be operated on, and died on the operating table when he became Suga Zombie. The reasoning why he wanted to do science and all that was because it wasn't delved further, but he had a kid and lost a kid, and he wanted to remake that kid so that the kid would survive an illness or become has a strong body, so that he'll survive. That's why he made the bitter clones. Speaking of bitter clones, yeah, the bitter Gavv part kind of overstayed its welcome at a certain point. It overstayed its welcome. Like, they kind of made it into a mass-produced, but not really. Like, when Suga got killed, the Shoma clone stopped because Ram just saw the vat aquarium full of Shoma clones, like Rei Ayanami clone from Neo Genesis Evangelion reference there, and just nope, and just that's the end of Bitter Gavv Shoma. But then he shows up. The Bitter Gavv shows up again as different users. One being Magen, associate of the president, who got hooked by Dark Creeps, became Bitter Gavv, but using Brick Cookie. And then Suga turned into a zombie, and then get turned into another Bitter Gavv, but using a marble cookie. And then finally, Jeep got turned to Bear Gavv with Baki Baki stick, like potato sticks or French fries. And can I just say that I really thought Bear Gavv was just going to be a one user, not many user. I was surprised at that. I was surprised, like a good surprise, but the execution wise, not that great. There's much to be desired from the Bear Gavv part. Gavv has really bad villain problem, and this is a going trend with Junko Kimura's work because a lot of her works has pretty forgettable villains or underused villains. I could have sworn, like, what I could have want with the stomach and the Jaldax is more like if you remember how Virums work, how Virum from Jetman work. There's like a big boss, the queen, and then but midway it got killed by Renegade, and Renegade moved on from the general, who is well pretty high, into the final villain. I want Lango to go through that motion, but sadly it did not. And yeah, it's a missed opportunity. There's a lot of missed opportunity. But overall, this show wasn't bad. It's not as good as Geats, definitely not as good as Geats, but it's definitely much better than Gotchard, much better than Revice, definitely much better than Saber. And I think it's up there with 01. Like, 01 has the middle arc, the company arc, and how they resolve some of the characters are bad, but overall, early parts and the end part was good mostly. Early part was very good, end part was mostly good. The middle part is where it got a problem. Yeah, the end part has a problem. So it's up there with, it's around the same for me as with 01. It's a good show, but it could have been better. Geats is just peak. And I am hoping that, because it's Yu Takahashi, again, will continue the good trend, because honestly, let's face it, Rider has been up and down, up and down, up and down. It's been varying quality. As opposed to Sentai, it was just going up. It just keeps going up. Go user. Oh, that's just going up. And yeah, Yu Takahashi rarely does things bad. Like 01 was like, it has its problem, but overall it's good. X8 was great most of the time. And Geats is just, Geats. I am hoping, and I have, but by the time of this video, at the recording of the video, it's Monday, so I've watched Zet's premiere. That show was good. Yeah, I'm hoping that momentum continues. So yeah, Rider really needs to step up their game, and I'm hoping, because Zets is now a simulcast, even though I can't watch it without a VPN. Southeast Asia, you only get Thailand and Vietnam. Come on now. Indonesia, where we at? I still need to watch it either via VPN or fan subs. Like, come on now. You're on the right track. Just need to commit. I'm hoping with Zets, Kamen Rider gets a more broader appeal, especially international-wise. I guess that's all I can say for Gavv. It's overall a good show, but it could have been a lot better, handled much better. I guess that's it for my review for Kamen Rider Gavv. How did you like it? How did you enjoy Gavv? What would you say is the best or worst part of Gavv? Tell me in the comments. I'd like to know. Let's get a conversation going on. So yeah, stay tuned for my next video. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Follow me on all things. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. Every little bit does help. So see you next time. I'm Dear Asterisk, and I'm signing off. Bye.